Guys, I am Emily, so nice to meet you all. I'm going to show you how to clean leeks today in order to make anything you're going to need to know how to make with leeks. The interesting thing about leeks is because they're a shoot, you actually have to wash them a different way than you would a normal vegetable. So, here's our leeks. The first step is you wash them in your sink. Easy enough, you pour some water over them, rinse them down very nicely. So, there's our nice clean leeks. You bring them over to your cutting board, and you're going to cut them nice and into little coin-sized pieces. So, in order to cut your leek, you're going to want to cut off a good most of this leafy part here. You don't really need it. It's kind of tough and bitter. You're also going to want to cut about an inch off from the bottom. That's where they cut the leek out of the ground. The roots come from here. So that part is also not very good. And you're going to use this shoot part here, which actually is various layers, but you don't want to take the layers apart just yet. Just so you know, the leeks will have some dirt in them usually. That's okay because there's a second part of the washing process. So I just cut this leek. You can see that it has layers like an onion. Alright. This end here, we're going to just put this in our trash or decomposition. If you do cut any and you see that there are some shoot that you can use, you can take that part out and then cut it down to size. This really isn't enough for me to worry about, so I'm going to just leave it aside and also put that to go into the comp pile. So you're going to cut it into coin shapes, roughly half an inch to an inch in width, and then this all is going to go into a bowl of warm water. Okay, so my first leek is cut. As you can see, multiple layers. It looks like we got a pretty good one here. It doesn't have very much dirt in between the layers, but in order to make that dirt go completely away, we're going to get a bowl of warm water. Just get a large mixing bowl, fill it up with some water. You're going to put your leeks in. Just all those little leek pieces. I think there's one there. I got them all. So, and then using your fingers, you just separate all these pieces. This also helps so that when you go to cook them, all the little pieces cook up nice, and you don't have to worry too much about the thing staying together. I mean, just like if you were to cut up an onion, you wouldn't want large onion chunks stuck together. Leeks have a wonderful sort of like a chive scent to them. They have a dark leafy taste after they're cooked with a hint of onion. So if you don't like onion, they're a good replacement in many things. But I would suggest cooking them. Otherwise, they kind of have a strange flavor. So I'm just going in and I'm separating all of the pieces so that in between where the dirt can set in when they grow, in between each one, they are nice and clean. Alright, so I have now chopped up all of my leeks and I put them in the bowl. The next step that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to wash the leeks completely. And what I suggest is doing this in a sink, just in case the bowl overflows. So you just get your hands right in there and you kind of shift them around, move them around, go at it like your washing machine would your clothes. And you just make sure you get all that stuff cleaned out. And before you dry them off, you're definitely going to want to let this water sit and let the dirt settle at the bottom. The leeks themselves will float, so you don't have to worry too much. I've overflowed this bowl a little bit, but you can kind of get the general idea. I'll definitely, before cooking them, be emptying it out a little bit. So you just get in there. I usually use both hands But alas, I do need to hold this camera in order to show you what I'm doing. So, there you go. And that's what you do. Just let it sit for a few minutes, and then we'll let them dry. Alright, so the next step to preparing your leeks is drying them. So what you want to do is you want to sprinkle them out on a paper towel or a clean dishcloth, and then just pat them dry. So you take another paper towel and just pat it. You want to make sure that they're nice and dry before you go to cook them, because if you put this in hot oil, it's just going to splatter back at you. You could get some serious burns, and it's not going to make your leeks cook correctly if they're not dry. So you just go through, and so I'll do that for this whole bowl, and if you do the same thing, your leeks will be nice and prepared. Well, thanks guys for watching my video on how to prepare leeks. I hope that it answered any of your questions. If you do have any questions, definitely leave me a comment and I will try to respond quickly. Of course, it might take a couple of days, so if you're preparing the food right then and there, I would definitely just go with your gut instinct about how to prepare the leeks. However, if you follow my step-by-step, then you should be fine.